Welcome to the Tithely CHMS check-in tutorial. In this video, we will be looking at the following. Check-in system settings, like creating rooms, using the check-in system and how to find people, setting up the self-check-in feature, and other additional settings. We will not be discussing label printing and barcode scanning in this video. Let's get started. The check-in system is designed to allow you to check in children, adults, or volunteers into a service and keep track of who has attended, when they arrive, and when they leave. The check-in system can be used in conjunction with barcode scanners and label printers to allow staff to correctly identify parents and children. You can find more about these features on our help site at help.tithe.ly or by contacting our support team. Before you can begin using Tithely Check-in, there are a few settings you'll need to establish. First, demographics. Demographics are one of the ways to categorize people in your CHMS. You can learn more about setting these up in our CHMS Learning Center, Part 1, Video 4. For the purpose of this video, we will be looking at using check-in for children. Creating specific demographics for children is important for checking children into the right room. Sub-demographics can be established directly relating to the stage each child may be in. These may be created for different age ranges or school grades. For example, children may contain babies, infants, toddlers, lower primary, and upper primary, as you see here. An automated progression can be set, allowing for the system to move kids from one demographic to the next. This will occur based on the age or grade settings you've created. For example, once toddler Cynthia turns 6, she will automatically progress into lower primary, based on the settings established here. After your demographics are set up, let's look at your rooms. Setting up rooms within the check-in area provides a great way to separate and identify which children go where on a service day. Rooms can be assigned to demographics, locations, and/or service types, and the system remembers these selections when checking children into a service. To create rooms, navigate to Check-in in the left-hand menu. Click Add Room. Then complete the details as listed. The capacity field is a helpful tool for reporting. Running a capacity report is particularly good for showing growth and decline in numbers. It can also be helpful to see where more resources are needed. For example, if your toddler room is at 95% capacity weekly, according to the number that you have set, you may want to consider adding additional rooms or leaders to support. When checking in an individual, check-in will only list rooms if the individual matches the location, demographics, and/or service type requirements. Keep this in mind while choosing the criteria for each room. You can select which location or campus your room is located. Rooms can be allocated to use across multiple locations, as long as you have the same demographics using the same room in different locations. You can see the different demographics and sub-demographics that you've established here. Select the ones that are appropriate for this room. It may be just one or multiple demographics per room type. For example, in the nursery room, you may only allow toddlers to join this room, and therefore select the toddler demographic. You can select as many different graphic groupings as needed. There is no limit. Another thing you can assign to this room is a service type. To edit this setting, scroll down the page to service types. This, combined with the location, allows you to break down locations even further by specifying the type of service that room is required in. For example, you may like to have this room available at the North and Central campus for their Sunday morning service, but not for their youth service. Room leaders. Currently, this setting is just for record keeping, so you know who is meant to be looking after this room. We do have plans for this setting to be used more in the system, so stay tuned for future updates. Once you've selected these settings, click Save to continue. The newly created room will appear at the bottom of the Rooms page. Simply click and drag the room to appear in the desired order. Before we look at the different types of check-in, let's set up your admin settings. These admin settings refer to the default display for your check-in system. To manage these, go to Check-in under Settings. There are 3 tabs under the Check-in Settings page. We will only be reviewing the Check-in tab at this time, as the other 2 are related to label printing. Default Check-in Type. When you go into the Check-in page, what would you like the default check-in type to be? Children only, volunteers only, or all people? People categories. Should the admin person using the check-in be able to see what an individual's people category is? Do you wish to show or hide the category? Some churches like to be able to determine who is a regular member, visitor, or archived during check-in. It's up to your own personal preferences. Default SMS text message for parents. In order for this feature to function, you must have SMS enabled and integrated. If this has been set up, when you click on the SMS parent button, what message would you like to send by default? There is an example message already there, but you can change it to suit your church. Security codes. When you check someone in, the system creates a security code. By default, security codes are issued to every individual. Family codes. By default, each person within a family is given a unique security code. However, if you prefer, you can adjust this so that every member of a family has the same code. Code type. When a person first checks in and doesn't have a security code, there are 3 options. Would you like the software to generate a random code for this person that will be their code moving forward? Or would you rather have a random code be generated every time they check in? This is a more secure option. Alternatively, you can have an admin assign a code manually when they first check in. This feature is generally used in conjunction with a barcode scanner. Code lengths. How many characters do you want your check-in code to be? 6 is the default. Code characters. This determines what kinds of codes will be generated for check-in. You can choose to have only letters or numbers or both. You can also determine whether your code starts or ends with a particular sequence of letters and/or numbers. For example, your church may be Church of Christ, so you may like to have COC as the start code sequence. Session codes. To add an additional level of security, you can choose for the system to generate random session codes every time a check-in is made. For example, a parent might use their regular security code to check in their child, but once checked in, a random code is generated for the service and will display on screen or be printed on labels. This way, you can securely use a random session code to identify a parent or child without publicly displaying their general security code. Session codes are only valid for a particular session or service. This prevents someone from finding a discarded label from a previous week and using it to check out a child this week. These will not be shared amongst family members. So even if a family has one general security code for all children, each child will be given their own service session code. Self-check-in. Self-check-in enables individuals to check themselves in from an unmanned station. In the context of child check-in, a parent could be the one to check in their child. The following settings are customizable for your self-check-in station if you choose to use the system in this way. What can be searched for when using self-check-in? How can a person be searched for when looking up someone in self-check-in? By phone number, last name, or security code? You can choose multiple choices. This is not limited to just one or the other. The most secure way of doing self-check-in is by having people enter their security code as the only way of checking in. This is completely up to you and how you'd like this to work for your church. Security code visibility. When someone is typing in a security code, do you want the numbers or letters to be hidden on screen? This is for privacy and security, so onlookers can't see what's being typed. Security timeout. By default, when you search for someone but are inactive for more than 15 seconds, the check-in will reset. 15 seconds is the default, but you may like to extend that time. Check-in all. When families are checking in, would you want them to be able to check in the entire family at once? Disabling this option can provide you with more accuracy. It's very easy for a family to check in all members going into a room, even if only 2 out of 3 children are actually in attendance. Checkout. Would you like to enable self-checkout? The process will be exactly the same as the check-in system you have created. Once you are happy with the settings you've chosen, click Save. Since we have all the check-in settings in place, let's take a look at the different types of check-in stations. Check-in types. There are 3 different ways the check-in system can be used. First, admin check-in. Admin check-in enables a leader or team member to check in individuals. Access to this area can be limited to a specific user responsible for this task. This can be set up in access permissions. To use admin check-in, there are 2 ways you can find it. If a service you wish to check someone into is within the next 6 hours, you can use check-in directly found in the main menu. However, we strongly recommend that you go to Services, Upcoming Services, and find the exact service you wish to check someone into. Click Check-in. There are a few settings here that you can update to shape the check-in results. First, who are you checking in? All people, volunteers, or only children? This will change what people appear when you search. You can also choose to include archive people in these searches. While searching by last name is the fastest way, you can also search by mobile number or security code. For now, we're going to search by name. You can either click on the first letter of the name as it appears on the screen, or begin to type in the name. As you type, any names matching will appear below. Once the name is found, select it. The software will automatically list any family members that can also check in. You can choose to check in all family members, or you can manually select each individual. If your demographic progression is set up correctly, you will see that each child is in their correct room due to their demographic allocation. To complete the check-in for this person and family, click Finish. To recap, to check someone in, you search, select, check them in, click Finish. Self-check-in. Self-check-in, as mentioned before, enables individuals to check themselves in from an unmanned station. Self-check-in is available up to 6 hours before a service time. Setting up the self-check-in will follow the same steps as admin check-in, but with one additional step. Select the Self-Check-in button found in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. 3 options appear: Native, external keyboard for computer use, on-screen keyboard for tablet or iPad, and Quick. This is used for barcode scanning. When searching, it's very similar to the admin area. Keep in mind the settings you've established earlier during the self-check-in setup process. Once complete, click Finish. The final setup type is Quick Check-in. Quick Check-in is used for scanning barcodes to quickly check in individuals or families. As barcode scanning can't be demonstrated in a video tutorial, please contact our support team if this is something you need assistance with. Now that we've looked at the different variations of check-in, there's one final feature to consider: attendance and reporting. Once a service starts, you can see who has checked into each room by selecting Check-in, Room, View Check-ins. This opens up a page of all the people that have been checked into that room for a service. From this page, room leaders and admins can also check people out and contact parents via SMS. Keep in mind that the SMS feature will only work once enabled and integrated. If you'd like to generate a report from the room attendants, this can be done in the Reports area. To find this, click on Check-in, Reports. Here you can find built-in reports, such as room attendance, overall attendance, and absentees, or create your own standard and comprehensive reports. These can be emailed out or printed too. This completes our CHMS check-in guide. For more information regarding label printing barcode scanning, and more, please check out our label printing manual. Thank you for watching our tutorial about the Tithely CHMS check-in system. For more information, please visit help.tithe.ly or reach out to our support team.